We've had the official press release for the Legion Go, and we've also had some prices pop up on the Best Buy website. So this has given us our first opportunity to do a true comparison between the Legion Go and the ROG Ally, as I believe that's its closest competitor in the market at the moment. So I want to go through a few points about both machines together. I want to go through what the Legion has on top of the Ally, and then sort of my conclusion as to which one would be the best purchase at the moment. So first of all, I'd like to touch on the fact that both machines have the same price. The 512 ROG Ally with the Z1 Extreme chip sold for $699, and the Legion Go with the 512 and the Z1 Extreme also sells for $699. As both devices on screen have the same price, my fears were wrong in expecting it to be much more expensive. At this price point, it does directly compete with the Ally. Number two, from a GPU-CPU standpoint, they are identical. Both machines use the Z1 Extreme chipset, which means there's not going to be much in the realms of performance difference between the two devices. Three, the Legion does have faster RAM than the Ally. However, in our testing, at least with the Ally, the CPU or GPU gets bottlenecked long before the RAM does, so it's not really going to make much of a difference when playing AAA titles. That being said, depending on the game, the mileage may vary. So things that the Legion has better than the Ally. First of all is the obvious, the bigger screen. So the Ally comes shipped with a 7-inch screen, while the Legion comes with a whopping 8.8 inches. For those looking for better visibility, this will most likely sway their decision making on which one to buy. The next up is detachable Joy-Cons. I'm going to call them Joy-Cons as that's basically what they are. If they end up being able to connect like the Switch ones do into a controller, then I can see a use for these. Having an external controller for something you can prop up on pretty much any surface, given the kickstand, is a good thing to have. I still stand by my opinion that the right stick turning into a vertical mouse is very much gimmicky. You can probably come up with some use cases for it. Would I be using that for an FPS shooter like they advertise it? Absolutely not. Having used an ergonomic mouse that is of a vertical orientation at work, I can tell you that your reaction speeds and your motor fine skills are much hindered using one. The point of this type of mouse is to ease the stress on your elbow and your wrist, not necessarily to get you better accuracy or reaction speeds, which is what you'd be looking for in an FPS game. Outside of enthusiasts and collectors, I don't see this being a real swayer in the decision-making department. Not to say it's not a cool gimmick to have. Finally, the battery. The Legion does have a bigger battery. How much that larger display is going to offset the bigger battery, we don't really know until it's released and there's been extensive play testing. Having a bigger battery for longer play sessions is obviously desirable. Now on to my main concern with the Legion. According to online articles, the Legion does not have VRR, also known as Freesync. Now what Freesync does is if your machine is putting out less frames than your screen's refresh rate, it will stabilize it in real time. So that means if you have a frame instability at low FPS, it offsets the screen tearing and stuttering. On this channel, we have extensively tested the Ally and Steam Deck on many different games, and we found for the AAA or higher end titles, you're aiming at between 30 to 40 FPS, usually on the lower end of the settings. So FreeSync is essential. Given that the Legion has the same chipset as the Ally, the concern is that the Legion will suffer from the lack of FreeSync, and it will be all the more obvious given the larger screen. There is still some time before this device is released, so fingers crossed this is an oversight and it'll be rectified before general release. This is the only real slight I can find on an otherwise solid offering. Now if anybody wants to donate $700 so we can buy one of these things and put it through its paces, that would be awesome. But otherwise, thanks for sticking with me, and I'll see you next time.